Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of The Lock Shop, brought to you by Coolbet. Nielsen and Hustler with you once again. You can find him on Twitter at HustlerRam, and of course, me right here on Nielsen at TSN at 1260 on Twitter. Give Coolbet a follow as well at Coolbet Canada. Lots to get to. If you've not yet signed up for an account at Coolbet, go sign up today. Use the bonus code LOCKSHOP, all one word. You get a 100% deposit bonus on interest deposit up to $200. Huss, my man, how's the weekend, buddy?
Well, you listen, the weekend was phenomenal. I wasn't even planning on getting into the wide world of wagering this early. Went in and ran the complete table. Like, I'm just looking back at what I sent you from the show. And keep in mind, these picks were done late night on St. Patrick's
they were.
Day. So maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe this is a method that I can really lean into, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm pumped about the picks, but I have an apology to make. I sent you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I went 10-1 in my picks on the Lock Shop, and yet managed to find the one loser and throw that on the partner parlay, which would have won because both you. That and was Chris killer.
We had our legs.
And I'll say this: if you're gonna lose, taking over 6.5 on a 0-0 game is doing it in spectacular fashion. So, as I said, I tweeted it, I owned it. But the Sydney Swans, Geelong Cats, the women's tennis picks, including Swiatek at plus 110, even TFC getting their first win of the season. I continue to pick the Lakers right every game that they play.
Yes, you do. I know.
So I was disappointed there was no Laker game tonight. That would have been an auto bet tonight. But anyways, It was a really fun weekend. I can't wait for. We don't even have to wait for the weekend. Tomorrow, and we'll get to our basketball and hockey picks, and then get to the Dell Match play. A very unique event, but one of the most fun from a betting standpoint. We've got the pods out right now, so you've got numbers on each one of the 4 players in each group of 16 where you can bet on, and then we'll have a match Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then 2 on Saturday, and of course the finals on Sunday. So very, very fun. This is one of my favorite Lock Shop episodes of the year. So let's get at it.
Very exciting. We got the golf coming, NBA coming as well, but let's dive right into it with some Tuesday sprinkles around the National Hockey League. And Huss, you got 3 plays there. We are on 3 different games, so that's 6 different plays for you tonight in the National Hockey League. You take her away, Huss. What do we got? Where are you starting?
Well, first off, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to do the exact same thing I did last Tuesday when Vegas was here, depleted. Said I do like the Jets, but I'm going to keep them off the card. And Jets did win that. They're dealing with a COVID. I mean, I was just going through their lineup for tonight. I mean, you'll need a program tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. Zach Whitecloud's now out with COVID, one of their other players, and one of their coaches as well. So I think the Jets are a good bet tonight, but I'm not mushing them. I will keep them off the card. Starting it off with the St. Louis Blues, Husa's back in net. They've actually lost a few games recently, but I really do think that they're going to get a nice boost of Nick Leddy. And they're a team, if you look at just how consistent they've been this season, they really don't get into long, extended losing streaks. So I think St. Louis bounced back with a win tonight. Washington actually has played quite well as of late. They lost their last game, but before it lost 7 of 8. But I like St. Louis as an underdog plus 124. And we're going to go with the Kings at home against Nashville. I think on an even normal day, I'd probably take the Predators. They put up 6 last night against the Ducks, but they did play last night. Los Angeles is at home. And, the Kings, for their part this year, have been a pretty damn good, consistent team, and they played well at home. So I think taking advantage of the fact that Nashville played the night before, this game is a pick'em. I'm going to take Kings as a home in a pick'em minus 109. And then the Calgary Flames have been such a wagon lately, and I went through their last 20 games, Dusty, and for all of their wins, if you had took them on the puck line instead of the money line, I think you would have only lost 1 game. I mean, they are routinely beating teams by 2, 3, 4 goals. I like what they did at the deadline. I think they're playing as well as maybe anybody in the Western Conference right now, and San Jose is not going anywhere right now. So I will lay the puck line 1.5 with the Calgary Flames at -114. I put those three together as well in a Tuesday night parlay, paying just over 7-1.
That's a big one. Yeah, plus 702. I do like that. I didn't put mine together of a parlay. I'm not too sure what that number is going to be, but I got New York Rangers at -152 on the money line at the New Jersey Devils. I like the Rangers mindset. I mean, you look at where the Rangers are at. The Rangers are a very interesting study because they came out, how many years ago was it now, where they dropped that letter to the organization and said, we're going to do this right. We're going to go into a rebuild. And they got a couple of top picks, but those guys haven't even really made a significant impact in the overall success of the New York Rangers now. They got this excellent goaltender, obviously, that's really changed the vibe for that team. And then they go to the deadline, and I thought they made a couple of nice additions as well. So I think New Jersey's locked and loaded here. -152 tonight against a rival, obviously, in the New Jersey Devils. Columbus, Pittsburgh just seemed like an obvious. You know what was weird is that, I don't know if you noticed it when you're looking at all the NHL plays. We've been talking a lot about 6.5, 6.5, 6.5s. I think this is the only 6.5 on the board tonight. I think there's a bunch of 6s. It's just a steady diet of 6s. If you go look right now, and I might be wrong, but when I looked like 10 minutes ago, it's just 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So there was a lot of 6s. But I'm going to go on the over here, 6.5. They played twice this year. One of those two games did go to 7, and Columbus has been playing better offensively now than they were then. And obviously, Pittsburgh very good offensively as well. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh and Columbus over 6.5 at -119. And then I'm going to ride. Go ahead, Huss. What were you going to say? Did you see all those?
I was just going to say, you're right on that. It's there's only 2 games, and this is a big slate. 11 games tonight, I think?
Yeah.
And only the Columbus-Pittsburgh game and the St. Louis-Washington game. Those are the only 6s, and even those are the only 6.5s. And again, you've got some 6s where you're getting like +111, +125, and you can adjust them. But yeah, for the most part, and that's a bit of a departure because we've talked about just how many goals have been scored in this month of March. Save percentages going down, the opposite of gas prices.
Oh, gas prices. My goodness. The final game that I've got in the National Hockey League tonight, I know they're on back-to-backs, and Dallas is a pretty good team fighting for something. But the Oilers, man, they won 5 in a row during the homestand. They went out on the road last night against Colorado. And to be honest with you, I thought they kind of deserved a better fate last night. Like, I thought they played very well against Colorado. They held Colorado last night to the second fewest 5-on-5 shots that Colorado has had all season. The only other team to hold Colorado to less 5-on-5 shots was Tampa Bay earlier in the year. So Edmonton is playing very well right now. That top line with McDavid and Kane and Yamamoto. I mean, McDavid was the worst player on that line last night. Kane and Yamamoto were both going. So, they get the net back to Koskinen tonight after Smith played last night. Koskinen's been the steadier of 2. I usually don't hop on teams in the second half of back-to-backs on the road, but you're getting plus money on a team that's playing really well right now. So I'm going to take the Oilers as the road dog here at +104 to round out my 3 picks on the night.
Well, I can tell you, just from a Jets fan perspective, I certainly hope you're right. We need the Dallas Stars to lose some games in regulation. So go nuts, get the W, take care of your friends in the prairies, and go for it. I did watch that game last night. You're right. And I heard some of your show this morning. Evander Kane, I mean, very polarizing guy, but he is playing his ass off right now. That's one thing that no one ever doubted. I mean, the guy brings it all to the game. And you know what? There is, it would be a great redemption story if he could, find a home in Edmonton, establish himself as a guy that, can be counted on as a teammate, actually fit in with the team and has some success. So, we'll see what happens in Colorado for that part. I mean, if you can do that against Colorado, I mean, that's how you show that you're ready for the playoffs right now. And listen, I've got major questions about Mike Smith and still with the goaltending right now in Edmonton. But you know what? He made some big saves last night. That was a big win for Edmonton. And as far as New York, your point about the Rangers is so well taken. I mean, I think that was only a couple of years ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. It was like when they got the Capo Caco pick. They're like, we're going to do this right. And he's been hurt, and he hasn't really become much yet. And Lafreniere is still finding his way, and the Rangers are already a beast.
They were here 2 weeks ago in Winnipeg, and I was watching the game. And Lafreniere was playing with Zibanejad and Kreider on their top line. Kreider scored his 37th and 38 goals of the season. Lafreniere had an assist in that game. It was his 5th assist of the season. I mean, how do you go through playing all these games in top 6 minutes and playing on the power play with 4 assists? It makes no sense. Just have 13 goals in the year. Probably scored a couple since then. But yeah, and they made some interesting additions. Obviously, our old buddy Andrew Kopp here from Winnipeg is on his way to New York for
they got Vetrano,
second-round picks. Frank Vetrano there.
Braun, they landed Braun, didn't they? They got Braun.
They did from Philly. Yeah, that was. I know you guys were hoping he would be on his way over there, but I guess
he was on the radar.
This next couple of weeks, we're going to see how things sort of shake out. I mean, there's always some teams that are aggressive that, don't do anything after the trade deadline. You wonder if it's buyer beware. And hell, the next 2 weeks, we might actually have some clarity as to what happens with this Vegas Dadonov trade to the Anaheim Ducks. You know what? Sens fans are sitting back just laughing their asses off that somehow Ottawa created this situation between Vegas and Anaheim. It is it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, huge night tonight in the National Hockey League. And I know we'll talk about the playoff teams in a couple of weeks for a team like the Winnipeg Jets, another must win. And, the Jets are going into a period, Dusty, much like the Oilers did at home a couple of weeks ago, where they took care of business, beating a bunch of those teams. I mean, it goes a depleted Vegas team tonight, Ottawa, Columbus, Buffalo, and Arizona over the course of these next 5 games.
Some ground can be made up there, buddy.
It's time to put a string together of wins. That's not something the Jets have been able to do very well this season, but we'll see what happens tonight. Anyways, great slate of games over at CoolBet tonight. So that's what we've got for you, and see what you can make happen.
Let's slide over to the association where we got a few plays as well. I'm once again on another chalky money line parlay with the Nuggets, the Bucks, and the Warriors. I know the Warriors are a little bit banged up, but they're playing the Magic on the road tonight. That's not a game I'm overly concerned about. The Bucks, you're going to dive into that game a little bit more. I think the line, I think you saw it last night at 5.5. I think it might be sitting at 7.5 this morning. It's a little bit of a quiet night in the NBA, just 4 games on tap. So I'm going to throw in the Nuggets at home against a Clippers team that's still kind of finding their way, 500 basketball team. So Nuggets, Bucks, and Warriors tonight for my 3-game NBA parlay, and that'll get you up to plus 133. I looked at just the Nuggets and Bucks, and that was still like minus 120 something. So I did throw the Warriors on there. I mean, that's a nice matchup against the Magic, whether they have Steph or not. That's still a pretty good Golden State Warriors team. So I'll throw those 3 on a parlay tonight, plus 133. And I know you got a couple of picks with some spreads and some totals here. Huss, where are you going?
Yeah, well, it's funny that you brought that up. I'm just looking. You are right. I mean, a couple of the last few lock shops I've made picks the night before and then found out that I actually wasn't a bad line and could have gotten a much better line the next day. Opposite here, I'm on the Bucks minus 5.5 over the Bulls. And, to be honest, I'm not sure whether there's been an injury announcement or some sort of an update, but you are right. This number has moved a full 2 points. So it's a pretty significant number. If you do want to get it to 5.5, but you have to lay. It went from minus 111 on what I picked yesterday to minus 159. So govern yourselves accordingly on that. I still think the Bucks are sort of the class of the East right now, along with the Sixers and the Heat. But, the Bulls had that great run. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're struggling
they've
right
fallen
now.
off a bit.
So I'm on Giannis and the Bucks to get it done at home. I'm a little less confident about the minus 7.5, but got it in at minus 5.5 last night when we were doing these picks. And then the other one, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Clippers team total under 106.5. Now, they're going up against Denver, the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Clippers, first of all, if you just assume that they're one of the, it's the Clippers, they're a great team, they're good. They're in the 8th spot right now, just above the 9th seed LA Lakers. They'll be playing in the play-in game against the Timberwolves. And there's a possibility we could have the Clippers and Lakers playing, not in the actual playoffs, but in the play-in.
Highly likely.
That being said, Paul George still not playing right now. They've lost 3 in a row. They've put up 92, 100, 111, 106, 106, 109, 97, 93. They've rarely been getting to this 106 number. So you add in the fact that, Denver, although Denver recently actually hasn't been that great defensively, even at home, and have had some higher scoring games. I'm taking the under team total on the Clippers at 106 tonight at just about even money, minus 103. Who knows, that maybe that number goes up a little bit and the number comes down, but I'm in on it under 106.5 at minus 103, along with the Bucks minus 5.5.
All right, there you go. A few plays tonight on the hard court in the NBA, and let's slide into one of Hustler's favorite events of the year, Dell Match play, and we got a few different picks for you on this one as well. Once again, came pretty close last week. Justin Thomas one shot off the pace, missed the playoff. So another classic lock shop golf runner-up. It's incredible. It's incredible, actually, the run that we've been on of 2s and 3s this year. Like that's unbelievable. Huss, I can't hear you right now. I don't know if you kicked your mic out or what.
Sorry about
there we
that.
go. There you go. You scared me.
Amateur hour. I had to cough and then I didn't turn it back on. Yeah, it's been ridiculous. I mean, we finished up with winners in 3 of 4 tournaments at the end of last season, and then have come in with. I mean, I've been betting golf for a long time. I mean, between the Will Zalatoris, the Spieth blowing the 2-shot lead. I mean, there has been heartbreaks of all time just in the past 6 weeks of this tournament. So maybe it turns around at the Dell Match play. I absolutely love this event from a betting standpoint. I think it's my favorite event of the year. Right now, you can pick your outrights. They weren't up last night. They are up right now, but the pod. So essentially how this works, if you're unfamiliar with the Dell Match play, there's 64 players in the event. They are all seeded 1 to 16, 17 to 36, and so forth. And then they basically take one player from each group of 4 and they put him in a 4-man pod. They play a round robin. So your guys will play matches on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You can bet on all of those matches individually. Right now, before the event starts, you can bet who comes out of each event, out of each pod. Once they're through Friday and you're down to the final 16, there'll be matches in the morning on Saturday to go from 16 to 8. On Saturday afternoon from 8 to 4, and then you've got the final 4 coming up on Sunday. So it's a really, really cool event. The PGA does an absolutely terrible job of promoting. Like, this should be golf's version of March Madness. I mean, you should be able to, even the bracket that they put out is not printable. I mean, get it together, folks. I just, whatever. That's just an aside. If they really want people to get into this, they might want to
come up with the printable bracket right now. By the end of the episode, I could get you a printable bracket. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Exactly. Hire Dustin Nielsen PGA tournament. He's very, very resourceful. But here's a key thing before you're doing it. And actually, I was doing these picks yesterday night before I'd actually seen what the bracket is. I'm not betting Billy Ho anymore to win the tournament. I will bet him to win his pod. But the way it works out is it's a fixed bracket. So you know that the winner of, and let's just say the first group, Brahms group, is going up against Brooks Koepka's group and so forth. So Scotty Scheffler, who is the 5 seed, if he wins, he'll be playing the winner of the 12 seed group, which is Billy Ho. So essentially I have my 2 guys playing in the second round. Not really going to do that. So I'm just sticking with Scotty Scheffler at 20 to 1 to win the tournament, and Abe Answer on the other side, a bit more of a long shot at 59. I'll say this about Scheffler. I promised myself when I left the Ryder Cup and watched how nails he was playing against, an incredible competition and wiping them out. I said to half of that I was with, I go, dude, I marked my words. I'm betting on Scotty Scheffler at the match play. So I'm holding true to my word. And in between, he's won 2 of 3 tournaments on tour. Yeah. I mean, he's one of the hottest players in the game right now. So I love Scheffler in this situation. I love him to come out of his pod. He's got Matty Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, and Ian Poulter. Not easy, and all guys that have done well. But listen, you want a guy that's got a good Ryder Cup record and then go up against 3 Ryder Cup regulars from Team Europe? It's going to be a lot of fun watching Scotty Scheffler. And Abe Answer, this is a tournament, or a course, I should say, in Austin that, I was watching Mayo and Feinberg break it down. Historically speaking, the thing that you want the most in your player is accuracy between 125 and 150 and 100 and 150, because it's not particularly long. You'll have shorter approaches, and that's so big. In addition to putting, I think we all know in match play, putting is sort of made it on the green, on the greens. The matches are won and lost on the green. So Answer can get hot, but Scotty Scheffler is the guy that I like the most. So I take out Billy Ho. We'll put him in on a pod 1, and we'll get to the pods in a second. Why don't you hit the guys that you've got?
Yeah. I'm going to go right back to Thomas. I was on him last week. He's sitting at plus 1,600 heading into the event this week. I mean, yeah, he didn't win it last week, but it was his fifth top 5 in the last 7 months. I mean, basically when he's been playing, I laid it out going into last week, and when he plays, he's at minimum top 10. I think he had one top 20 mixed in there over the last few months. So I'm going back to Thomas. I'm going to go to Shane Lowry. What's the number that I got on Lowry here? Lowry's plus 4,400, so he's 44 to 1. This is a guy who's in really good form right now as well. He's got 7 consecutive top 25s worldwide. So he has been 100% in the mix every event he's been in the last 7. So 5 of those are top 15s actually as well. So 7 top 25s in his last 7 events. 5 of them have been top 15s. He's been playing extremely well. And then a little bit of a longer shot here in Brian Harman. You're getting him at 69 to 1 for Harman. And he's 2 for 2 in getting to the round of 16 in this event. And he's been playing pretty well as of late as well. So, yeah, I'm going to throw Harman. It's a longer shot. I mean, 69 to 1. It's unlikely, but the fact that he's actually advanced to the round of 16 both times he's been in this event, I think kind of looks good for a guy who you're going to get at plus 6,900. So I'm on Harman, Lowry, and Justin Thomas. And then you mentioned, the pods. So Horschel, who you had, plus 180 to win Group 12, right? So that's kind of the numbers that you're looking at for some of these pod and group winners.
Yeah. So I'm just going to roll through a few of the guys that I like that I'm going to be taking. Abe Answer in Group 15 is plus 225. Scotty Scheffler's plus 175 to win Group 5. And by the way, I think that John Rahm was the only, or there were 2 of the top seeds that made it out last year. I mean, it was a bloodbath for the top seeds, like 1 to 16 last week. So if you think that can continue, major value on some of the guys in the middle or even the long shots in these groups. So thinking of that, those are the 2 guys that I like at the top. And as I said, I'll probably put a sprinkle on Billy Ho he's the defending champion. I think he's at plus 185, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just, why can I not find Billy Horschel's group?
Yeah, he's up on the right, plus 180.
Well, plus 180, although this is another one of those groups that I might go away from it. Minwoo Lee at plus 450. This is the sort of guy that just all of a sudden shows up and, wins a few matches and moves out. So I don't know. Maybe I'll stay away from Group 12. I was originally high on Billy Ho. Maybe I'm just thinking because he won it last year, he's going to win it last year, yeah. Group 14, I like Russell Henley at plus 235.
His putter can get going, right?
6, and again, this is going against Justin Thomas, but is there a guy that's better suited for this event than my guy Kevin Kisner? I mean, not a long hitter. He is absolutely nails when it comes to approaches, putts really well, and the guy historically in match play has been, unflappable. That's why so many people were saying he should have been on the Ryder Cup team last year. He's made it to the finals at least once. I think the Final 4 before as well. So I'm actually going to be taking Kiz at plus 285 in that group. And the Group 3 winner is interesting. Vic Hovland's at plus 150. I think he's the chalkiest favorite other than John Rahm in a group in the entire event. Yeah. Will Zalatoris, who's I've been on all the time, I think I might throw a dart at Sepp Strack at 4 to 1.
Oh, wow.
He has won his first event. I mean, he's contended. He had a nice players. And as I said, I've just followed this event for so many years. There's always some guys that, you're aware of, but you don't give them much hope. And then lo and behold, they're playing on Saturday as a winner of a group. So Lee Westwood also, Group 9. Bryson DeChambeau, certainly not going with DeChambeau. And Taylor Gooch has been awesome. I mean, was right there at the end of last week at the Valspar. But match play, Lee Westwood. I mean, the guy's had more Ryder Cup starts than anybody. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with Russell Bland at plus 425. So I'll be going a little sprinkle on Lee at plus 335. And then the other really interesting group that I'll just make a quick mention of is Group 2. Morikawa is plus 165, but Sergio is plus 250. And Sergio lives around this area right now, plays the course tons, another guy with incredible match play experience. So don't be surprised if we're talking about Sergio on the weekend at plus 250. And by the way, Group 16, you mentioned Shane Lowry and Brooks. Brooks is the top seed of that. Lowry is actually the favorite right now at plus 215. Pretty interesting. But all the pods are up there right now. And again, make sure if you're picking, like we were talking about, outrights, take a look at the bracket.
Find that bracket.
What I just about did and have my 2 picks to win, even if they win, playing each other and eliminating each other in the first round. Probably good to get guys on opposite sides. And the same thing if you're doing a DraftKings lineup. This is very different than normal. It's about survival. Spread your guys out between the 4 quadrants to give yourself the best chance of, potentially having 4 guys playing in the Final Four.
Man, there's a lot to bet at the match play. I can see why. See why this is your golf Super Bowl here, Huss. I like it. It's good.
Well, it's good. And we've got all the matches for tomorrow as well. I mean, just don't go through all of them, but, Spieth's minus 119 against Keegan Bradley, who just had a very, very good week. But I'll tell you what, Spieth's the sort of player, great match play experience, Texas guy, played this event a ton of times before. Kisner and Leishman, another close matchup, Kiz at minus 119. What else do we've got? We've got Sepp Straka, big minus plus 170 against Vic Hovland. Vic minus 213. That's about as big of a favorite as we've have. I'm not sure with this Kayana guy, but he is the biggest underdog in the entire event. He's going up against Xander Schauffele. Xander's minus 227. Webb Simpson and Brian Harmon's just about a pick 'em, minus 104, minus 118 tomorrow. And let's see what else.
You can, every single match. It's awesome.
It's all there right now, and you can parlay these as well, which is fun. So I mean, if you want to take 3 or 4 guys,
you can parlay these.
Oh yeah, you can parlay the matches. I can just see the sprinkle in your eye right now.
Oh boy,
I don't think you can.
I was just looking as you were laying them off. I was just like, man, I wish I could just parlay a bunch of these.
Yeah, no, you certainly can. Now I'm just looking to see. Can you? Yeah, I don't think you can't parlay the pods, but you can parlay the matches. So tomorrow's action, if you want to take 3 or 4 guys, put them together and
I do want to do that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do want to do that. I'm definitely going to do that. Yeah. Okay, well, that's going to be fun. Obviously, we'll give you an update on that on Friday when we have another episode of The Lock Shop. Huss, what do you got coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy?
Well, today, Jeff Hamilton's going to pop by. We'll get ready for this Jets Golden Knights game and discuss the way the team looks post-trade deadline. Scott Cullen's also going to pop by. We'll talk about everything that happened in and around the league. Probably hear from Coach Dave Lowry, maybe the return of Mason Appleton into the lineup tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. So lots of stuff on the Jets and maybe a little bit more in this golf tournament as well when we do it. And as I said, keep an eye on our Twitters. I have a feeling there's a high probability of in between now and the next Lock Shop, some daily bets for the match play on some individual matches. So I'll pop those up probably beginning tomorrow once the first matches are finished and we see how things go on Wednesday.
Yeah, so make sure you give him a follow at Hustlerama, and of course, give us a follow at Lock Shop Bets on Twitter as well as we work our way towards 1,000 followers over there. Enjoy the first few days of match play, buddy, and good luck with those NHL bets tonight. I will catch up with you on Friday, man.
Hey, this is the great Tuesday show. 11 games in the league tonight. We don't even have to wait till Thursday for tee off because things get going in Austin tomorrow.